everyone, welcome back. This is Venom for the Soul. I am your host, Vetty, and today I am joined by two fine gentlemen. You already know one. Introduce yourself, you.
My name is Jay. I'm her nephew, the favorite nephew. I was on the last, what was it? What was the episode?
Unscripted, Venom Talk.
Unscripted, yeah. Right, now I'm back.
And he's back. And then, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Gabe, and I'm the kid that she keeps in her basement. She finally let me out for a couple minutes.
Just for a few minutes, though. Just a little tiny bit, just so I can prove that you're not in danger and stuff, so people know that you're real.
Yeah.
So that is my son, Gabe, and my nephew, Jay, as you guys already met him. Now, I'm sure you guys noticed that I changed the name to Venom for the Soul. Reason being, I don't know if you guys saw in my last video, it was brought to my attention that Dark Mystery Podcast, that name was very, very close to another big YouTuber who has a podcast, and it's literally like off by one letter. So I didn't want to be confused with her, even though she's amazing. I absolutely love her. I didn't want anyone to think I was copying her. I honestly did not catch it until I was called out on it, so I had to change it. So that's why it took some time. I wanted to rebrand, change things up a little bit, and things like that. So today's episode, Unscripted. And if you guys remember our first Unscripted Venom Talk, if you will, we just talked, but today we're going to be talking about scary ghost towns. Ooh. Or ghost places. Or ghost towns or ghost places or haunted areas and things like that.
What?
Oogly boogly, exactly. We're going to do a little oogly boogly. So, Jay, why don't you start us off? Why don't you talk about what the little research you were doing, if you will?
I don't think you did research.
The research actually originally is from a couple years ago. Months ago, we were supposed to go visit the mansion, and I forgot what happened. I think it was closed or something. That we ended up going to a different one, but I still had all this research. So now that the podcast is a thing, I was like, well, I might as well bring it up and not let it all go to waste. So,
right.
Talking about Maury's mansion, it's
a lot of words. Ooh.
And it was originally built in Redlands. And the story that basically surrounds it is called Haunted by an Unfortunate Family, which the name is very giving to the story. So the first owner were David and Sarah Maury, hence the name Maury's Mansion. It was a privately owned 1890s Victorian mansion, and it was built by David and Sarah. Obviously, I just said that. About 1 year after David and Sarah moved into the house, Sarah died of a sudden illness. Grief-stricken, David Maury never stepped foot back into the house. He became a really big alcoholic and moved into Hotel del Coronado in San Diego. Within a year, he had committed suicide and was found hanging in his room. So, about 2 years into the house being built, the house was built in 1890, so between 1890 and 1891, Sarah died, and between 1891 and 1892 was when David committed suicide. It is rumored that the rooms where Sarah died, the Blue Room, is haunted. The house was featured in the films Talk About a Stranger in 1952 as the house of the character Dr. Paul Mahler, alias Matlock. Local tales hold that the bedroom where Sarah Maury died, her husband killed himself elsewhere a year later. In 1901, known as the Blue Room, is haunted. A 2009 episode of The Outsiders visited Maury's mansion and reported it as haunted. So there was a couple, like not movies, but like documentaries, like The Outsiders. No, not The Outsiders. Other Siders.
You're fired.
So the Other Siders visited it in 2009, which was a show. I'm honestly not too sure what it is. I'm guessing it was like a show, kind of like Paranormal Activity, like Ghost Hunters, kind of.
Oh.
So the mansion reported as haunted. The team caught orbs, strange hotspots, and pictures of the initials SM, Sarah Maury. The basement is also haunted, as well as the music room, children's bedroom, grand staircase, library, and kitchen. The current residents of the house, however, have noticed no unusual activity. So when they looked at it, they said, yeah, like there was paranormal activity going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also heard stories of when they were able to visit the mansion, that on that staircase you see like a woman figure. Like I've heard a lot of stories about it. The house was originally built for $20,000, which in today's world is really cheap for that kind of house.
Mm-hmm.
But back in 1890, 20,000 is equivalent to probably a few million now.
Yeah.
Pennies and dimes an hour. And it sold for $850,000 to the current owners, and is now selling. I don't know if it's sold or is still on sale. Its estimated worth is $3.7 million.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's pocket cheap. It is truly a beautiful house. It's a very nice house.
It really is.
That it was like haunted, and I had $3.7 million. But it's like a old, like I said, a Victorian home. So
it's very, very beautiful. Where is it located at again?
Redlands.
Redlands. So I remember now why we didn't go there. So as Jay had said before, he had did his research on it because we were supposed to go to the mansion. The reason why we were supposed to go to the mansion was because Celeste, my eldest, was having her quinceañera. Now, the original plan was to go to New York for her quince, which her birthday's in July. However, because it was in 2020, that had to obviously be canceled or at least postponed. But we still wanted to go and take pictures because it's a quinceañera. So we didn't know where exactly to go. So Jay here, like he just did some research. And, we're really into like the whole Victorian era mansions and things like that, kind of goth a little. So he actually was the one who suggested that we go and take pictures there. However, I believe Celeste was a little afraid because she's not really into, like, she doesn't like scary stuff like that. And we were supposed to head over there, but when I called, or I don't know if it was me or you, somebody had called to make reservations so we can go and just take pictures there. Unfortunately, it was closed to the public because of the pandemic. However,
it was COVID. It was because of COVID.
It was because of COVID. So, however, we were able to go to Edwards Mansion, which is also in Redlands, literally right off the freeway.
It's very beautiful there too.
It is very beautiful, yeah. And there is like a creepy vibe to it as well, but it is very gorgeous. I even called and I asked them, "Hey, look, we just want to take some pictures there. How much does it cost?" And it's actually free to the public if you just want to walk around in there. So we went to go take pictures, and Jay was our little prop manager, and the cards, the playing cards. We were so the angle.
12.
Okay, so this fool. So one of the pictures, it was supposed to feature Celeste because it's kind of like, I really wouldn't say Alice in Wonderland theme, but kind of like that type of vibe. So one of the pictures, we were supposed to get it from on top. Like she was sitting down like in this like outdoor dance hall type thing. Almost, yeah. And they had tile flooring, which was black and white. It was like, oh, perfect. And we took cards there, playing cards. So the angle was supposed to get like Celeste from the top looking down, and she was supposed to look up, and cards was supposed to be flying down. Now, Mr. Prop Manager here was instructed to make it rain with the cards so it could look really nice and pretty. Now, you know what he does? Bah, he just throws it at her. In the picture, she's like, with like a bunch of cards in her face and stuff. And it's like, dude, you were just supposed to like make it rain, not like in the thunder, think it loose.
Going like this, right? I tried, and the first few cards went, and then when I went like this, my finger got stuck, and the whole dark deck of cards was like, ow, and I was like,
it literally just landed in her face. It was the most funniest thing ever. So, but mission accomplished. We got our picture.
Yeah, honestly, I think Edwards was almost better than Maury's, only for the simple fact of the yard they had. You remember they had
Yes.
the fountains, then they had that little courtroom. Then actually inside the house was really beautiful. Really creepy vibes. I had goosebumps the whole time.
Yeah, Celeste, even she was very uncomfortable taking pictures inside of the home. She said that she just felt like just weird, like a presence there. Yeah, and then obviously the photographer, they were like taking the pictures and everything, and I was taking my own pictures,
Ooh,
and thankfully we didn't catch anything. What happened?
my lights just turned off
Oh,
because I have my
it's
LED.
dark.
Yeah, I have my LED lights on, and it's just like randomly like.
Okay. You okay?
Okay, there we go.
All right. That's a keeper. All right. So we ended up getting our picture thanks to the photographer, which was actually Jay's mom, my beautiful sister-in-law. She was able to, get the angle and stuff. And of course she had to kick his butt for it because that was just hilarious. Like that picture, like she was like literally like this, with a big old deck of cards coming to her face and stuff. It was just hilarious. It was the funniest thing ever. So, but Jay got, he went through with it. He helped us out and everything. It was a very beautiful place. There was a creepy vibe to it. I would love to visit Maury Mansion because it's beautiful. And I would love to get like the scoops of it and everything. Sure, I'd get married there. Heck yeah. Don't play with me. Right? Exactly. So I would still do that. Like it's both creepy and intriguing in my point of view, but just the history of it alone is just gorgeous. And you see the history and the details of the mansion and everything. So, and I just like, I would like to know its secrets as well, which obviously there's secrets for a reason. So we would never know, like what really happened there and stuff,
If I'm not wrong, actually, too, another thing about Maury's mansion. No, it wasn't Maury's. There's another like creepy mansion that was originally built somewhere else, and
there's a bunch.
Yeah.
Somewhere else.
There's the
lifted like off the ground and moved like towns.
I think that was Edward's mansion.
So it was Edwards that got moved then.
I believe so. I want to say it was one of those two that was built and moved or relocated, if you will. But do not quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure. So, but I think it was Edward's mansion. I'm not sure though.
You can get married at Edwards. Like you could rent that little where we were taking pictures.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely Edward, and I believe no, I don't know about Maury because you said they're selling it, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So originally it was built 5 miles east of where it's originally, I believe.
Okay.
So I don't know really what way it was, but then it was cut into 2 pieces and moved 5 miles into like where they have like their courtyard. Because if you go see it in person, it almost looks out of place.
Oh, okay.
Like if you really like, that's something I was looking at. It looks like they built everything else, and then they put the house. It doesn't look like the house was built, then everything else was built.
That's probably exactly what happened. They probably already built everything because if they ended up moving it, then that's probably exactly what had happened.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's
it's creepy.
Kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Haunted mansions and stuff. Not from Disney, but haunted mansions.
Going a little off topic here. I have a duck.
Aww, a ducky.
It's really weird because it's like soft and not rubbery like my other ones.
He just wants to show off his duckies. They're haunted duckies. Ooh.
I like rubber ducks. Yeah.
Disney's Haunted Mansion is based off the Shipley Lydecker House in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I knew that, but I don't remember it, to be honest. So I'm just gonna go with I did not know that. I know a lot of Disney stuff, but yeah, honestly, if I could, I would build me a house like the Haunted Mansion in Disney. I would love even like those old school mansion. And the thing is, like in the last Venom Talk Unscripted, we talked about how you don't know what's really in the land. You don't know really the history of the area that you're in. Like we talked about a home that we used to live in down the hill in, the San Bernardino County area. And if you really think about it, like if you go to Colton and you go to like all those area, it is old school. I'm talking 1800s, probably even 1700s. I don't know. I would definitely research that, but it is old. Like the houses there, you could just see the history. They look like little bitty mansions, you know, and they're just, in my opinion, they're beautiful, but they're so old and they're not well maintained that you could see like they're kind of falling apart. But my thing is, what is really lurking, you know, in the walls of those homes? Like there's going to be an episode I'm going to do about Wyatt Earp and like his brothers and everything. And there's the house where his older brother Virgil, the one that got shot in the arm, his house is still standing in Colton. So, and someone actually lives in that home, you know, and just like the last episode, the Wineville, the house is still standing there. So it's like, I hope you guys saw the video where I actually went to the home. I didn't go inside the property or anything, but you know, you're still able to see it, you know. So that was just very interesting and stuff. And you, like I said, you don't know the history of what's really under, you know, like on the soil and everything like that, because as far as we're concerned, this history is what we've been told. But we really don't know the secrets behind that. So it's like, who knows what's really lurking in the soil and within those walls. So, yeah.
I have a creepy fact about like Haunted Mansion, kind of, but it's also kind of like a dumb, like just throw in their fact.
Okay.
So basically, like some people will sneak their like grandparents or dead relatives' ashes into the Haunted Mansion to get like swept up in there. And it's kind of creepy because it's like, I also believe in like spiritual ghosts and stuff, and it's like you just put your like dead relative's soul in the haunted mansion to haunt a unhaunted haunted mansion. And it's like, it's just weird why people do that, you know?
Okay. Here's my thing. When I pass away, I want to be cremated. Now, if none of you mofos put me in the haunted mansion, I'm coming after you. I'm going to pick your feet while you're sleeping. I'm just going to start tickling them. But this is how I want you to do it, okay? You're going to go to the haunted mansion, okay? You're going to take a little piece of me, just a little tiny, just enough to turn me into air, okay? As you're riding the ride, you're gonna sneeze and achoo, and then there I go. So that counts, and I won't be swept. So see,
you accidentally, like before, like I sneeze, I go like on accident. Cause like sometimes before I sneeze, I gotta hit.
That's a good stuff, you know.
I gotta like oh my nose. Everybody's gonna be looking at me like.
Oh, I got my dead aunt. Sorry. That would be, obviously is not really an appropriate topic, but that's actually could be a fact. Can you imagine you riding the ride with your, you know, and this is no disrespect to anybody who's exactly like, or before that you take a breath getting ready to sneeze and then you just accidentally snort your dead relative. Like that would just be so weird. Like that's gross.
I love snorting souls.
Right?
Or like you like accidentally turn before you sneeze and it's just like all over the person next to you.
Oh my god, you go on a date. To go and try to impress. Sorry, mama. I got my mom on you. Sorry. I don't want your mother on me. Like, get that
We're over.
Okay. Okay. I try to put a question on every episode. I think that's going to be the question for this episode. How would you feel? You know, you're on a date, you go on a ride, and your person you're with, your date, is about to drop, you know, their dead relative's ashes onto the ride because it's their dying wish, and they accidentally put it on you. How would you react? What would you do? So comment down below. What would you do if your date, you know, accidentally threw or spilled their dead relatives' ashes on you when they're trying to spread them into a ride?
Spread the ashes, yeah. You know what I would do?
What would you do?
What I would do? I would be like, I guess I'm closer to your family now.
Right. You know,
closer than ever.
Or another question, what if you accidentally snort your dead relative like that? That just, would that even, I mean, that would, I'm sorry, I'm like lost of words. Like that would be so unsanitized.
Yeah.
Like, that is nasty, you know, like,
getting your pet cremated, like a pet, like an animal. They do it in batches. So they'll put like 4 or 5 animal, like dogs, right? And they'll cremate them all together. So if you cremate your dog, it's like a 50-50 chance there's even part of your dog's ashes in the urn.
So you only get like maybe, let's say there's 4 dogs that they put in there, you probably get 25% of your dog. That's just really, really weird. All right, so comment down below what you would do. What's your reaction? What do you think? What would you do? All right, so let's move on to the next story, which is my turn. So I'm almost positive, I know for a fact you two have to have heard this about the video game Silent Hill.
I haven't.
I'm
about to drive
Hey
over
Jay.
here.
I play Fortnite.
I'm just gonna... You play Fortnite still?
Boy,
What's
okay.
wrong with
Okay,
you?
No. Time's out.
Time
All
out.
right. No, you're fired.
Time
You're
out.
fired. Okay, so Silent
Wait,
Hill. Sit your butt down. So Silent Hill is a video game on PlayStation. So they came out back in like the early 2000s, probably late 90s. So basically what it's about, it's this father who's with his daughter. She's about maybe 7, 9, possibly even 10. And they are driving to Silent Hill or whatever. They're reaching their exit and it's really, really foggy out there. And they see within the fog like silhouettes of a girl walking. So to avoid hitting her, they, the guy, he ends up swerving or whatever. They ended up crashing. So when he comes to, his daughter's no longer in the car and the door's open. So he walks to the town to find his daughter. And that's the whole mission, is he's trying to find his daughter. However, he encounters a police officer and she's helping him find his daughter. And within the game, you have to fight these demonic creatures. And they come out throughout the day. But then when it's nighttime, or when it's dark, if you will, the siren will go on. A lot of people are very familiar with the siren. And when that means basically that evil is coming, so then everything turns into night. It looks literally like hell. And there's these demonic creatures that you have to fight off, and then you end up finding your daughter at the end of the game. And they have different, endings and stuff depending on certain like choices that you make within the game. There's about 4 in total. Very, very creepy. I absolutely love that game. Silent Hill, awesome game. They also made a movie, Silent Hill, but instead of a dad, it's actually the mom. It's very, very scary and everything. I do highly recommend it. But if you look at the pictures and you see all that, in the background and whatnot, it is very creepy. Now, there is a real life town, ghost town, or nearly ghost town, that the movie is either inspired by or based on. The town is in Pennsylvania and is called Centralia. And that town has been in existence since like the late 1700s. It was actually founded by Robert Morris, who was actually one of the signers from the Declaration of Independence. He found the town and like the area and everything, and it slowly started building up that way. Now, underneath the ground was basically nothing but coal. So it was a like coal mine, mining town, if you will. So that's how it kind of got it started. So it was officiated by a mining company in 1866 because they wanted to go underneath and, start mining all the coal and everything, because obviously we use that even to this day. And this went on for a good while and whatnot. But in May of 1962, the town decided they were just going to kind of like gather up their trash and go to this one certain location of the town and just burn it, right? Not the smartest thing you can do, all right?
Yeah.
So they decided to burn their trash, right? They do that. The fire ends up going out of control a little bit. And because, time with the earth, we all know like there's cracks and everything like that. Somehow the fire ended up going inside the coal mine. And till this day, mind you, this is in 1962. To this day, the fire is still going. And researchers believe that it can still go on for another 250 years. Now, the town itself has been basically evacuated. So the government has declared eminent domain on the homes. However, not everyone moved out of there. So there's still like maybe 5 people as of 2022. It could change, obviously, but those people did not want to move out. So they were able to reach an agreement with the government about them staying there so they can live there for the rest of their remaining lives. However, once they're done, once they have passed on, they cannot gift their home, they cannot sell their home, they can't do anything. So let's say they decide to sell their home now, they cannot do that. Because as soon as they're done, the government's taking over the home because it is dangerous to live there. From what I hear, underneath, the heat can get up to like 600 degrees, anywhere between 300 and 600 degrees. There's a story of a young boy. He was about 12 years old. He was playing in his grandma's house or out like in the outside. And, with the heat and everything, the earth starts opening up. So unfortunately, there was a pothole that opened up underneath his feet and he fell in. They said that it was about 4 feet wide and 100 feet deep. The only thing that saved him, the only thing that helped him from not falling all the way down was like a root of a tree or something like that he was holding onto. Thankfully, his cousin was there and he acted quickly and he was able to save the boy's life. But they did say that it was about 300 degrees inside that hole. So I don't know how deep he went in there, but the cousin was able to take him out. So now rumor has it that people, when they go visit, because it's not really forbidden for you to go in there. However, it is very dangerous because of the, the air, the smoke and the carbon dioxide, all that's going on there. But people do go in there to see what's going on. And they go to like the old church. It's now a cemetery. And people have claimed to have seen like ghost apparitions and even certain creatures. This one story, there was like a guy or something. It was a group of people that went, or a small group, like maybe 2 or 3, I'm not sure. They had went and they were walking in the town and they were claiming that they heard voices and they weren't really sure what the voices was saying. So once they were getting close to the cemetery, they heard the voice loud and clear saying, "Get out," or "Leave this place," something in that reference. And they all heard it. So they were like, okay, fine. So they were leaving. So they said as they were leaving, they heard voices again, but they couldn't, they first figured like, oh, there's just somebody else in here, but there was nobody there. There was no cars, nothing. So they said that when they heard the voices again, it didn't sound threatening. It was just more of a, why are you here type thing, so they're claiming that area is haunted and it's probably a portal to hell, which if you really do your research, there's a lot of those here, or at least there's a lot that are claiming that there are, like portals to hell and stuff like that. So could it be? I don't know. I mean, technically it's still burning, and there is ways to kind of like put the fire out, but it's just going to cost so much money for it to do that. Some people speculate that the creatures, if you will, like maybe the fire was really started by something else and they just used that whole trash burning thing as an excuse. And maybe whatever's there was already there and it kind of just ignited with the fire. Or maybe the town burning underneath kind of like drew attention to itself and brought stuff into it. And that's why there's hauntings and creatures that they see there. So who knows? We don't know, but that is the story of the real life Silent Hill, but it's called Centralia in Pennsylvania. What do you guys think about that?
That's crazy. And also in the beginning, the Silent Hill story, if I may add, I'm sorry, it reminds me a lot of Resident Evil, I think 3 or 2, because there's like a cult, there's a police officer with a girl, the cult wants to kill the girl. So I'm pretty sure Resident Evil was after Silent Hill.
I believe so. I think, I'm not 100% sure though.
Which is really cool because I feel like Silent Hill and Resident Evil are both really big, but no one really realized that they're really similar. And
to a degree.
To a degree. And if I may add another thing, do you guys know about that one TikTok where there's like this portal to hell and there's like this deep demonic voice saying hello and there's like chain rattling?
Yes, that's exactly what came to mind when I talked about the It is a viral video that went on. Definitely go check it out. It's about the 4 chained angels, I believe it was. Clearly, I have not read the Bible, but you know,
I haven't read the Bible in a while.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, these like giant angels, I believe it was, that they're chained up and they were locked away and hidden in the earth. And then there's this like one part, I want to say it's Eastern India, I'm not sure, but somewhere over there you can hear like someone's like yelling help or hello or something like that. Then you hear chains underneath the ground. There's caves underneath there and someone's recording it, and it's actually very, very creepy. Like, is it real? We don't know. Yeah, we don't know if it's real. It could easily be fake, especially nowadays. A lot of things could be fake, but that's it's
easy to fake.
Exactly, and it's very really creepy. Easy. Yeah, and it's very creepy to just think about that. There is a possibility that it is real, you know, because we don't know what's out there. Like, the truth is, we don't know.
Like, for example, like space, we don't know if aliens are real.
We don't. I believe they're real. According to the government, they already confirmed that it's real, but that's a different topic. So,
you know, if the government said they're real, then they're probably not.
Exactly. So that is my story of the real town of Silent Hill, which is called Centennial, Pennsylvania. So, Gabe, why don't you go ahead and tell us your story?
Okay, so my story, a lot of you may know where it's from or where it's like located. The Cecil Hotel. It is, if for those of you who don't know where it is or what it is, it's a hotel located in Los Angeles. I don't know what part, but I do know it is in Los Angeles. The Cecil Hotel is really famous for its hauntings and its disappearances. Like, this is a really famous story. A college student named Alyssa Lambs, her body, she went missing, and a couple, like, I think days later, she was found, and she was discovered in a closed water tank on the hotel roof. And security footage of Mrs. Lamb, she was behaving strangely in the elevators. And there's a theory that she was playing the elevator game, and then she didn't do it right, so she ended up facing the consequences and fell into the water tank and died. It is a very tragic story, but there are a lot of mysteries surrounding the death of poor Mrs. Lamb.
And it's Miss Lamb.
There's also multiple violent deaths in the Cecil Hotel. In 1942, 2 known serial killers were documented in the room's logs, right? And the Cecil Hotel has a reputation of one of the most haunted hotels or buildings in Los Angeles, and is now an attraction to attract the true crimes, astonishing the paranormal investigations. In 2020, during the pandemic, the Adventure Ghost crew went into the Cecil Hotel, and they were allowed to bring cameras to investigate everything, and I'm pretty sure they left really like scared, like they never wanted to go back again.
Well, yeah, the Cecil Hotel is very well known for its haunting, and just for those of you who are not or do not know, there's actually a documentary on Netflix about it. I definitely recommend you guys check it out. But did you know, Gabe, that the Cecil Hotel, it was split because it's a very old hotel. We had serial killers, even like Richard Ramirez was there. You know, the Night Stalker. He actually stayed in the hotel. Now, what happened there was a lot of homeless people that would go to the hotel and they would stay there, and they couldn't be evacuated because of a certain law or something like that. So the hotel managers and owners, they wanted to bring the public in and everything, but they couldn't do it because you had so many like homeless people there and stuff, and they were just bringing the value down and whatnot. So what they did is they basically split the hotel in half. So you have the Cecil Hotel, which is basically where the homeless people stay and everything. I'm not sure if you can rent a room there. And then they have the actual whole stay, which is stay with us or stay. Let me double check.
And while you search that up, Mom, a YouTuber where I got most of the elevator story from, like a little bit was from, I think it's pronounced Snarled. She tells a lot of scary stories, urban legends, and the video is called The Elevator Game. I highly recommend that you guys check it out. It's a really good video. If you get scared easily, don't watch any of her videos except for that one, because that one's, it's not that scary, but you might want to skip a few parts where it shows like Miss Lamb's body in the water tank because it's all shriveled up. It is only in black and white, so I do recommend, but watch this podcast instead. It's way better.
Thank you. Well, yeah, it's called
just for sure to say that. Help me.
It is called Stay on Main. That's the other side of the other half of the hotel. And yeah, there is that elevator game, because if you ever notice, like the next time you guys go to a hotel, there is not a 13th floor. And I remember hearing about that years ago, and I never really like paid attention. So when we had went to New York, I went up to, the elevator, and we were staying on the 14th floor. So when I checked, there is no 13th floor.
Wait, really?
Like, yeah, really. There is no button for the 13th floor. Now, it is being said that not every hotel has that, but most hotels do not have a 13th floor. And the reason being is because people have the fear of the number. I guess 13 has some sort of, demonic meaning behind it. And there's also that lucky 13 as well. But, I don't know. There's just so many things going on. Now, in regards to the elevator game, it was speculated that Alyssa was, in fact, playing the elevator game, which I do not recommend, because if you do it wrong, they will be very bad consequences. And if you actually look at the surveillance camera or the videos of her in the elevator, she is acting very weird. Like at first, it looks like she is playing like peekaboo or something with somebody in the elevator. So it's very weird on how, see, I'm getting chills right now. It's very weird that she's playing all that. And then she gets out of the elevator and the door does not close. And she's just acting extremely odd, like very, very strange and stuff. I don't know if anything has came up in regards to how she died, but I know there was a person who was actually accused of it, but he ended up being cleared. And it wasn't that there was evidence against him. It was just people who speculated, which is very stupid.
And also, other people like theorize that if you lose the elevator game, like this woman wearing, I think, red, if you look at her or talk to her, she makes you go insane and commit suicide. And I think that's why she ended up in the water tank. Or she was just like really like down and really like sad at one point in her life, and she wanted to be like, I want to kill myself, but I want to make it seem like paranormal. And so she started doing that. And then she was in the water tank. And it's like there's a lot of theories.
There's a lot. Yeah, no, there is a lot of theories and stuff. And some people even say that she was on something. And like you said, she tried to unalive herself. We don't know. We really don't know because we weren't there. However, it is very interesting to go and check it out. And I don't mean interesting in a disrespectful way, but like, I would definitely go. And when we went to Hollywood, Sunset Boulevard, we actually weren't that far away. I mean, it wasn't down the street or anything, but we could have easily just driven and stuff. So I don't know. We might check it out. I am not 100% sure. So now we're going to go ahead and say bye to the boys. And thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Gabe and Jay, for joining us and everything. I know it's late. I appreciate it, though.
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you so much for having me, Mom.
We were supposed to film at 5. It is.
Yeah.
But Jay here.
I forgot. We were supposed to.
You know what? Just because of that,
you're fired.
Jay?
You're fired, Jay.
You owe us all $5.
Mm-hmm.
You owe us everyone $5.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end it with the boys here, and we'll see you boys later. Thanks.
All right.
Bye.